Right now, more than 820 million people around the world don't have enough food to eat. That's nearly 1 in 10 of us. And things aren't getting any easier. Our population is growing, the climate is changing, and we're rapidly running out of space to farm. So how are we going to feed everyone in the years to come? Well, thanks to some incredible science, we actually already have the answers. So here's the big problem. Right now, almost 1 billion people don't get enough to eat. That's more than the entire population of North America. At the same time, we're wasting 30% of all the food we produce worldwide, which is enough to feed 3 billion people. Clearly, there's a disconnect somewhere between our farms and our plates. But there's also another issue. We're running out of space to farm. There's only so much room on this planet to grow crops and raise livestock. But farming is going to need to change anyway, because our planet is warming and weather patterns are shifting. All of this means that we can't just keep doing things the way we've always done them. If we want our food system to be resilient and keep producing food for everyone, we need to start thinking differently about where food comes from and what food is. But don't worry, because science has got this. Here are 3 ways that science is helping us solve world hunger. Number 1, smart farming. Smart farming uses new technology to make growing food easier, cheaper, and more efficient. One of the most exciting developments in farming is vertical farms. These are farms stacked on top of each other inside large buildings, allowing farmers to grow way more food in a smaller space. They can grow things like leafy greens, herbs, and tomatoes all year round. Since they're indoors, they don't have to worry about the weather. And because they use special grow lights, they can control the quality of light the plants get, ensuring they grow big and strong. What's more, they can stack farms on top of each other. This way, you can grow lots of food in a small area, meaning that more food can be produced close to where people live, reducing transportation costs and waste. Vertical farms use up to 99% less land, 95% less water, and produce 150 times more food per square meter than traditional farms. It's no wonder why they're popping up all over the place, including places like Singapore and Arizona. In fact, even the deserts of Saudi Arabia are becoming fertile thanks to indoor vertical farming. Plus, since they're not dependent on natural sunlight, vertical farms could be built anywhere, even underground. Another smart farming technique is hydroponics, sometimes known as soilless farming. As the name suggests, plants grown this way don't grow in soil at all. Instead, their roots are either submerged in water or just misted with water. The water has nutrients that the plant needs to grow and can be recycled and used again and again, meaning there's no waste. Aeroponics is a type of hydroponic farming where the roots of the plant are suspended in mid-air and misted with water. Plants grown aeroponically can grow faster than those grown in soil because their roots get oxygen from the air, and the mist provides the perfect environment for them to thrive. This means that they need less water overall and fewer nutrients. Another smart farming method is precision agriculture. With GPS-powered equipment like drones, sensors, and robots, farmers can monitor their crops and give each plant what it needs when it needs it, whether that's more sunlight, water, or fertilizer. This helps farmers cut down on waste, making sure that everything they use ends up in the plant rather than on the ground. Some companies have taken this idea a step further and created entirely robotic farms. These farms use robots that can sow seeds, weed, and harvest crops all on their own, meaning that fewer people are needed to run them, and that means more food. Number 2. New food sources. From lab-grown meat to insect burgers, the future of food isn't just about what we're growing, it's also about what we're eating. One of the biggest resource hogs in our food system is meat production. To produce 1 pound of beef, for example, it takes 1,800 pounds of water, 25 pounds of grain, and 65 million pounds of fossil fuels. But we don't have to raise cattle to eat meat anymore. Scientists have figured out how to grow real meat directly from cells. That means no animal is needed at all. In 2021, one company sold the first lab-grown meat in the world. Their cultured meat comes from a small sample of cells taken from a chicken or a cow, which is then put into a nutrient-filled container. Over time, the cells multiply into real meat that can be turned into things like burgers and sausages. Right now, lab-grown meat is really expensive and hard to make, but as the technology gets better and cheaper, scientists think that it could save a lot of resources that would otherwise be used in raising animals for food. Insects are another great alternative protein source. They're packed with nutrients and use way fewer resources to make than livestock. One study found that crickets use 12 times less feed, take up 100 times less space, and produce 400 times less greenhouse gases than cows. But let's be honest, insects don't exactly scream delicious. But that doesn't mean that they can't be a part of our diet. Companies are working on insect-based ingredients that can be added to other foods to boost their nutrition. For example, cricket flour is made by grinding up crickets into a powder that can be mixed with other flours to make pasta, crackers, and other baked goods. It's got more than twice the protein per kilogram than lean beef, and a whole host of other nutrients to boot. And finally, there's algae. Microscopic algae are tiny plants that live in water. They're an excellent source of protein and other nutrients like iron and vitamin B12. They're also really easy to grow since they use carbon dioxide and don't require arable land, water, or fertilizers. Plus, they grow fast. They can double in number in less than a day. There are even companies that have created algae-based protein bars and other healthy snacks. Number 3. Waste less, feed more. Around 1/3 of all food produced globally is lost or wasted. That's enough food to feed everyone on the planet. Now, a lot of this happens because food spoils before it reaches the people who need it. That's why one of the best ways to tackle world hunger is to find new ways to keep food fresh and tasty for longer. One way companies are tackling this problem is by creating new kinds of packaging that keeps food fresher for longer. It's made by coating the packaging in antimicrobial agents that stop bacteria from spoiling the food. Another company has developed self-heating cans. This means that if you don't have a microwave or stove, you can still heat up your soup or stew to the perfect temperature. Then there are companies that are working on coatings that can be sprayed onto fruit and veggies that prevent them from rotting. On top of this, many companies are working on ways to make food that doesn't spoil as dehydrated foods, for example, can last for decades. One company is turning rice into rice noodles, which lasts 4 times longer than rice. And another company is creating special dried powders that can be turned back into tasty meals just by adding water. Not only will these help reduce waste, but they'll also help prevent food spoilage in places that don't have refrigeration. There's another way we can reduce waste and feed more people too. Right now, many fruits and vegetables are discarded because they don't look perfect. In the United States alone, more than 20% of produce gets thrown away because it doesn't look right, but it's perfectly safe to eat. In Europe, supermarkets are already selling imperfect produce, and it's becoming a hit with customers. Many shoppers say that they prefer the ugly fruits and veggies because they're usually cheaper and taste better. This could be a great way to reduce waste and feed more people while saving money. So looking ahead, world hunger is a huge challenge, but it's not insurmountable. By investing in science and working together, we can create a food system that ensures everyone has access to the nourishment they need. Thanks to innovative farming techniques, lab-grown meat, insect protein and algae, as well as new ways to store and preserve food, we can waste less and feed more people. The solutions are out there. It's up to us to bring them to scale. Our future is full of uncertainty, but one thing is clear. The problems we face today are nothing new. Humans have always had to deal with shortages and food insecurity, but throughout history, we've found ways to adapt and overcome. We've domesticated plants and animals, invented new farming techniques, and developed new technologies to help us grow more food. We've even ventured into outer space to find new sources of food. Every time we've faced a challenge, we've pulled through, and we will do it again. Because the truth is, we humans are pretty darn good at solving problems, and we've got a whole lot of innovation in the pipeline. So don't worry, we're going to be just fine. Comment down below, what do you think? Share this video if it is useful and like this video. Subscribe this channel if you're interested in science and technology.